Hello and welcome back to Hardworking Man. I'm Rachel. Today I'm going to be showing you this awesome tool that we received from a brand called xTool. I'm going to be using it to make Heath a Father's Day gift. Shh, don't tell him. And this thing is so cool that I'm going to be making that I'm going to be putting it onto our own website, hardworkingmanoutdoors.com, so you can purchase one for yourself or for someone that you know, because I'm telling you, it's awesome. If you haven't checked out our website, go check it out. That's where we have hats for sale that say Hardworking Man. We also have t-shirts for sale for men and women that say Hardworking Man, and we have stickers. So if you know a hardworking man in your life that would love to wear a shirt or a hat that says Hardworking Man, then be sure to check out our website. There's free shipping, and Father's Day is coming up. These would be amazing gifts. If you've watched anything on our channel before having to do with a laser engraver, I just want to let you know that this S1 by xTool is leaps and bounds ahead of the other ones that we used. I wouldn't have known a difference if I hadn't had the opportunity to use this. First of all, this lid lifting up is very nice, very convenient. It works amazing. We have a 40-watt laser, so that means it's stronger than standard 22 watts. This is easy to navigate. We were sent the honeycomb. This is not standard if you purchase one. This just helps, as you can see, we did a couple of projects here already. It just helps it to not burn through to the bottom of your laser. It saves it a little bit. One thing that's very important when you're using a laser engraver indoors is to make sure that you have a good ventilation system. This comes with a tube that can vent to the outside and also an air assist, which helps aid in the cutting and the making sure things aren't catching on fire while you're engraving. So with any of the laser engravers that you're going to use, you have to have a computer, laptop, and a software program that helps with your designing to then communicate to the engraver. Now, xTool happens to have their own software. I find this to be a lot more user-friendly than the Lightburn that I had been using with the other laser engraver. That one required a lot of Googling to figure out how to use it. Maybe that helped me know this one better, but I feel like this one is a lot easier to figure it out. So now this does work with Lightburn as well. You don't have to use the xTool software, so if Lightburn is your program of choice, you can have it. Now, before I make any videos, I like to test it out for myself just to make sure that it is user-friendly, that it does work, and it can do the things that I want to do, because otherwise, why would I tell you anything about them? So I did test out this little design. You can see the intricate details that it cut out. This was just a template through the xTool software that I just clicked on. It's a mountain, and this was done super quick. I was shocked. Because it's this is just a thin little 3mm plywood, that's why it was so quick, I'm certain. So the project that I'm going to be doing requires more of a 10mm thick wood, and I wanted to make sure it could do it. So I had a test piece, and this is what I did, just a cute little hardworking man, and I had it cut out the circle, and as you can see, it was able to get through this thick material. The fun thing about these laser engravers is it's not just wood. You might be thinking, what am I going to make with wood? Here's a slate tile coaster that this is also going to be able to engrave on. So you're not really limited by the things it can do. There's thick, there's thin, leather. It even says it can cut out vinyl. Another thing that I love is those metal tumblers. There's a tumbler attachment, which we will be sharing with you, how it makes those, and that's so cool to me for a personalized gift for a coach, for a teacher, for anybody, family members. Everyone uses metal tumblers, and that's a really fun option to me. The tumbler will be coming to you in a later video, so you'll have to hold tight for that one. Just to show a little bit of what this can do with other materials, I'm going to engrave on this coaster, the stone coaster, and let's get it started. So I'm going to just set it in here on the honeycomb. Doesn't really matter where because we're going to set it up on the laptop. Actually, I don't close that yet. So I selected from the images our logo, and now over here, I will click on the material. And you can see there's a bunch of different materials, and here it says stone coaster. So I'm going to select that. All right, and now we need to select the distance, and that's one of the features that sets this xTool apart, in my opinion. So I click distance. Oh, get rid of this.
Hold up, show how when you move it that.
Oh.
So say when, show when I move this.
Okay. So when I move the laser head, it actually coordinates on the screen here. So I know where that laser is. So if it's up here, it can't measure anything. You have to move it into the usable area. So that's what I'm going to do over here. So I need to measure the distance between the laser head and the material that I'm going to be engraving on. So I click this auto measure. When I click the auto measure, you're going to see this tool go down. And it goes over there to check that. And now it knows exactly the height that it needs to be for the optimum engraving. Another fun thing is for it to know exactly where I'm going, there's a spot that says Start Marking. I'm going to click that. Then I'm going to choose the shape that coordinates with the material I'm working with. This would be rectangle. Start marking. So now I'm going to put these crosshairs up in the top corner of where I'm marking. Then you push this button and it will have a mark. Now I move the head of the laser down to the opposite corner. I push the button again. And now let's look over on my computer screen. We have a completed square and marking. So now it knows exactly where that is. Now you can see my design is over here. It's not inside of where my material is. So I'm just going to simply move that in to where I want it. One feature that you always use with these laser engravers, it's called framing, and it shows the path that the engraver is going to take. So when I click framing, you're going to see the laser it's going to show the parameters that it's going to cut. So that looks exactly where we need it to be. The next step is to hit process. This shows down here at the bottom the total amount of time it's going to take to do the process. And if you hit play, it actually shows you what it's going to do. So you are fully prepared at everything this laser is working on. Now you simply hit start. Make sure you close your lid. In fact, it will not operate with this lid open, so it's always safe. And this green glass makes it so that the laser is safe for your eyes. I don't recommend staring into the laser while it's working, but you don't have to have separate protective glasses. Hit the button that starts. So, all that's left to do, lift the lid up, move the head back and out of the way before you take your material out, and we have ourselves a nicely engraved stone coaster. All right, so this is a deer tag as an example of a deer that Heath shot here in Michigan. As you can see, it asks for the antler points, the month, the day that you shot it on, And I'm going to replicate this on a big plaque where then we can hang this, the European mount of the deer that he shot when he was in Ohio. And I say Ohio because let me show you. Here is the design that I have here, and I have the state outline of Ohio. So when I say I'm going to sell this in our shop, you can customize this to whatever state you live in, wherever you shot your deer at. So it could be mule deer, it could be elk, it could be anything that has points right or left that you have to mark the day, the month, and the year. I think it's a sweet idea. So instead of a plaque like this, where you hang your monster buck, oh wait, this is just a spike. This was Heath's first deer here ever shot. So instead of a plaque like this, traditional plaque that a lot of people use, and then you just hang your license somewhere on here, it's kind of ugly if I'm being honest. Instead of having to do this, so on this design, I've left a space open for the European mount to hang on a hanger that will attach onto there. Or if you just have a skull cap like this, you can also attach that to this plaque. It will elevate the look of your trophy bucks. So this is the piece of beech plywood that we have gotten at your local hardware store, big box store, wherever sells plywood. And it is thicker. It's a lot thicker than just the thin stuff that you get samples of. So it's going to take a little bit to cut through this, which is why I did the test run, but that's okay. So I'm going to put this in here. So because this is so much thicker, the only option here I have other than manually doing the distance is I've chosen the 10mm wood coaster option. And we're going to process on the base plate. There are other options if you have different things you're doing. Now I'm going to just set the distance like I did before. It's going to test the material, go over to the edge, to that plate, and it is confirmed to cut, engrave, score onto this material. So the next thing I'm going to do is start marking like we did to make sure it's cutting exactly where I need it to. So I select the rectangle. Now I'm going to go up here as far as it can go over. Select that mark. I'm going to go down to the bottom. And now we have our parameters, so I can make sure that the thing I'm cutting fits right in here. Now I'm going to frame it just to make sure that it's going to cut exactly where we have the material at. Yep. You want to make sure it doesn't go off your edges. If it does, then you have to reset here and make sure you're in the parameters of what you already set. Okay. So I want the perimeter to be cut so that the wood has a nice rounded edge on the corners. So I have to do it separately. So that says cut. On an easy set panel, I can choose the speed and the power and lower the focus and have it ready to cut around the perimeter versus engraving. So when I click on the others, it will be engraving. Now I'm going to close the lid, tell it to process. The last thing to do is hit start and then push the button on the machine. It says it's going to take just over 59 minutes to do this size of a project. We're going to speed this up and let you watch it on a time lapse. right, it is all done processing. Now I'm going to see the final product. Move the head out of the way. And we have a clean pass through. Only took one try. Wow, this looks awesome. So to finish this up, I'm going to put a nice coat of clear coat over top of it, and then we'll attach the bracket for hanging. And I want to mention that a lot of times when you cut through something this thick, in my experience, you get a lot of burn on the back, and this has very minimal. It did a very good job. I'm super impressed. So I'm not going to make you watch all of that. I'll be right back to show you the finished product. Here it is all finished. I have the bracket mounted, and I'm going to show you what it looks like with the European mount. Here it is, the complete finished product. What do you think? I think this thing is super sweet. Now he'll always have the memory of where he shot it. He won't have to forget what day. And if you want to get one of these for yourself, or if you want to order one for a gift, check out hardworkingmanoutdoors.com, and these are going to be available in the shop. Antler mount not included. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day.